Hello and welcome to SL Chennai Speaks Out Season 2. I'm Sanjay Pinto. It's a debate that's been raging on in the country for several decades. It's a debate that resurfaces whenever the Supreme Court either awards or upholds a death penalty. And this time around, in the Dharmapuri, for some reason, a section of the media calls it the bus burning case, but we prefer to call it the students burning case, where 3 party functionaries were in fact sentenced to death. And human rights activists, those who oppose the death penalty, I prefer to call them the Breaking News Brigade, say that the death penalty is barbaric, it's against all canons of human rights. But before we actually go ahead and introduce the panelists, I'd like to give you a slice of public opinion, in fact, what a victim of one of those 3 girls who were burnt alive, her father, what he had to feel about the death penalty and the demand to scrap it. Take a look.
என்னங்க பட்ட மகள 11 மணிக்கு 3 புள்ளை உயிரோட இந்த டயர்ல பெட்ரோல் ஊத்திக்கிட்டு ஃபார்ம் அடிச்சு க்ளோஸ் பண்ணி பண்றான். மனிதத்தன்மை என்ன மனிதத்தன்மை மாட்டுது? மனித உரிமை களவு என்ன? மனித உரிமை களவுங்கிறது பாதிக்கப்பட்டவங்க பாதுகாப்பா இருக்கணும் ஒழிய அராஜகம் பண்ணனுக்கு எப்படி பாதுகாப்பா இருக்க முடியும்? என்ன மனிதநீதி சொல்றீங்க? மனித உரிமை களவுங்கறீங்க? அது மனித உரிமை களமா அழகாமா? அப்படி இருந்தா அது மனித உரிமை களமா அல்ல. எப்படிங்க அது மனித உரிமை ஏத்துக்க முடியும்? என்ன உங்களுக்கும் அந்த பிள்ளைகளுக்கு என்ன சம்பந்தம்? யாரு நீங்க யாரு அவங்க யாரு? அவங்க டூர் போயிட்டு ஒரு பிள்ளைய 15 வருஷம் வளர்த்துறதுக்கு எங்களுக்கு என்ன சிரமம் இருக்கு? என்ன பிரச்சனைகள்?
All right, if you have tears, prepare to shed them now is what one could say. The deterrent effect, that was Veera Sami, father of Kokila Vani, who waged that relentless battle against the establishment to actually get justice for his child. Joining us on SL Chennai Speaks Out, Ozzy Fernandez, one of the most respected human rights activists in the country, who is the director of the Human Rights Foundation. Joining Ozzy is Mrs. Sudha Rambalingam, again a very respected activist in this part of the country. She is the National Vice President of the PUCL and a very leading lawyer as well at the Madras High Court. Both Ozzy and Mrs. Sudha Rambalingam believe that the death penalty should be abolished. On the other side of the motion is Mrs. Sudha Rambalingam's classmate at law school, but today he is on the other side of the fence, Mr. K.M. Vijayan, Senior Counsel at the Madras High Court Constitution expert, and A. Saravanan, who is perhaps one of the youngest public prosecutors of the Madras High Court. Both Mr. Vijayan and Saravanan believe that the time is not ripe to scrap the death penalty. So without much ado, let's go on to our first round. It's called Opening Spell.
It is not every case there is a death penalty is final. Even in Sessions Courts gives, it is either reversed in High Court or Supreme Court. And Supreme Court in 1983 itself has said it will be given only in the rare and rarest of case. Those who witnessed 2611 Bombay or 1 or 2 cases in Tamil Nadu, there is one case like Atto Shankar's case, and the present case is Dharmapuri students burning case. They will all say that we have not reached a stage where such a cold-blooded murder of innocent person can be left free. And many of the panelists, persons who have come here will know, who all seen Wednesday in English or Unnai Polur in Tamil, will endorse there is an anguish against the common individual citizens of helplessness of a state is not able to protect an individual from the extremist or the persons who takes law into their hands and escapes. So, until we reach the universality of a civilization to that index, death penalty as a rare and rare case can be there, it can be given.
One should understand that the entire legal system itself is quite flawed. It is not something which is 100% perfect. You take away the life of a person, you can't reverse it and bring him back. There are instances where a person has been executed for murder and the murdered comes to life, one. Secondly, there are also instances where the prosecution for various reasons files false charges and cases and tries to get punishment and also secures punishment. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Do you think, and eye for an eye was going to make the whole world blind. It is not going to really bring any reform at all into the mind. The third and the most important reason for any punishment is reformation, and this is what any civilized society will think about. Just because you have really not reached that height, you don't mean to say that you are not going to strive towards that. This thing of reformation is the only real acceptable jurisprudence behind any punishment. A person once executed can never reform, as all of you know. So, at least for this, we will have to ensure that there is going to be no death penalty, and all that the people would say is, if it is going to be life, they will be left off on Anna's birthday. In Premananda's case, we as activists ensure that there is 2 life sentences concurrently without remissions. So, what we should strive for is death would be, life would be life, really life, and there will be some scope for real reformation, and these people could be made to work in the prison and pay to the victims for whatever they have done.
Thank you very much.